Hello everybody and welcome back to Optimistic Orbit and another pick a card reading. And today we are looking at what version of yourself is trying to emerge. What's the new you that's ready to be born? Who are you becoming in this next part of the year? So we've got some pre-prepared piles for you today, and we're using the Universal Folk Oracle to help you make your choices of the 3 piles. And underneath I've pre-selected some oracle cards for you as well from 2 other oracle decks, and then I've also pre-selected and drawn out for each of the piles 6 cards from the Wonderland Tarot deck. So let's have a little look at your piles, and then you can pause the video, stop at any time to make a more informed choice and what energy is coming through for you, what you feel drawn to. The timestamps will be below. And so this is pile number 1. This is your card. This is your Folk Oracle card. If you feel drawn to this one, this is pile number 2. And finally, if you're drawn to this card, this is pile number 3. So once you've made your choice, head to your reading and I'll see you there. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading on what version of yourself is trying to emerge. What's the new you that is ready to come into reality? And you chose this card, which is number 24, Celestial, the possibility, connect, infinite soul path. So this very much suggests that the you that is trying to emerge has definitely got something to do with your purpose here in this incarnation on Earth. And I've got the page ready to see if we can learn a little bit more. So it says, remember to look up and marvel at the vastness of the universe. Our medicine is wise and laced with fierce longing. It can direct us onto our soul's path and clear the way for divine union. A communion with the stone celestial will amplify the sense of great connection to the universe. So yeah, you are definitely on a divine path here. Something is coming into fruition or is about to very much emerge in your life that is aligned with your purpose for coming. Beyond chrysalis. Oh, there's some changes going to happen here. Maybe it's a spiritual awakening, or maybe it's just like some kind of like huge amount of clarity about what your next direction in life is meant to be. Surrender to the merging of monad within the mind. So monad within the mind is about your pure essence, the spark of the universe that's inside you, basically. So very much we're aligned here, aren't we, in the messages that we're getting. Whatever is coming next in terms of your identity and who you are becoming is very much a spiritual being. Maybe you're starting to connect with some of the powers, the psychic powers that you maybe have. You're using your intuition more. Are you trusting your gut? Are you getting some kind of clairaudience, clairsentience that you're starting to tap into more? There may be something like that kind of already starting to creep in. And we've got crafty crocodile. So ancient keeper of wisdom and insight, show me how to dive deep into my feelings. And it says boldness, self-discovery, I think that's key, and assurance. So yeah, there's definitely, you've got to have that self-awareness, haven't you, to be able to drive forward with kind of the harmony with the divine, with what this is asking you to do. So if you are feeling called spiritually in some way, or you've started to delve a little bit deeper into some aspects of your time here on Earth, and what are you just, maybe you're even just questioning what's life all about, then this is definitely the next part of your time in this life for sure. So what is trying to emerge is a definite more spiritually aware person. And you may already feel like you've been on the path for a while. You know, if you're clicking into videos like this, it's very possible that you've been on there. But we know there are layers and layers and layers to this spiritual development journey. And maybe you're just kind of, your vibe is getting higher and higher, and you are ready for many more abilities to come in, many more illusions to be dissolved about what life actually means, and what your soul is trying to tell you why you incarnated this time. So we've got the Chariot, and the Chariot is all about driving forward with momentum. You are ready to move, I feel, towards this curiosity that you have with the spiritual path, for sure. You're like, you know, I think you're quite happy to like leave behind the old you and strive into a new you. You're very open-minded, I feel, even though this is a very focused in one direction. The direction that you're going into is very much of a curious nature. And, Major Arcana tied in with it. We've got the Justice card, which is all about fairness. It's all about unraveling the truth. And also about karma too. So I feel like this is definitely part of what, you can't escape this. I don't think, pile number one. You set this out before you came here, that this is what was going to happen. You're awakening at the right time with the things that are happening here on Earth and the changes that we are undergoing. As a collective, you wanted to come here to experience this. So we've got sevens, which are about you being on the right path. You've got to keep going. But of course, there are always tests. There are always layers to a spiritual development and awakening. So, you know, expect more of that, definitely. But this is definitely about you seeking out the truth. Seeking out the truth of who we really are, why you're really here, and just wanting to know all the answers to the universe, and you just want to soak it all up. You just really are champing at the bit to kind of like carry on your path. You've found out so much already, but you want to find out more about yourself as much as about how everything connects together. So the King of Pentacles with the Ten of Swords. Okay, yeah. So as we do develop our own personal awareness, some things do eventually fall away. We realise there are aspects of what we were doing, or patterns that were in place, or habits that we had that just no longer serve us, and we may be kind of stripping back some of those things. It might be that you've done some work on yourself already, and that feels like the old you has ended. In fact, you may already have felt like there are multiple versions of you that have just kind of been throughout your life. You know, the person that you were in your 20s is not who you are in your 30s. The person who you are in your 40s is not who you were in your 30s. You know, you kind of when you keep on this path of self-discovery, you often find that, don't you? You realise much more quickly what's actually serving you. Your values change due to your life experience too. So it's all kind of a learning curve. But in terms of you becoming the person that you want to be, you're really working on yourself. You're really working on becoming the person that has a much better kind of tranquility, calmness, and peace about what they're experiencing on Earth. You're not, I feel like you are, you may already be doing this, you're going to start stripping away some of the things that feel a little bit outdated, or that you think, do you know what, that adds nothing to my life. Why on earth am I still doing this? And it could be something as simple as, I don't know, becoming vegetarian. If you've been eating meat, you've maybe had that feeling for a while, and you're like, this no longer serves me. I don't want to do it anymore. Could be like, I'm giving up on reading the news, or I don't need to know about that. I'm not sure it's all telling me the truth anyway. There are going to be things that you're going to kind of declutter out of your life, and that serve you and feel just more aligned with who you are becoming. The King of Pentacles is somebody who's got their stuff together. And this is why I'm saying that there's going to be this old version of you is going to feel a little bit like it needs to be left behind, because a version of you is appearing here that is, it's got, yeah, like I say, it's got themselves together. They are very much in a place of feeling quite contented with their lot and what they have around them. And I think as well here, this with the Pentacles, we think about the physical resources of things. It could mean that you are feeling like you are finally settled, or you are potentially about to become much more settled than you have been. You're going to get yourself into a situation where you feel you've got your home just the way you like it. You've got the people around you who really support and love you. And you're sort of just making sure that the things that you spend your time doing actually you feel are valuable in your life. You kind of want to get rid of the clutter, you're almost sort of simplifying it down to the things that just make you feel secure, make you feel settled, getting rid of anything here that feels like the older version of you, feels like no longer fits with who you're becoming. But you're obviously just stripping it back and keeping the things that you know you need to have to feel at peace, to feel like you're winning at life. And we have the Lovers with Temperance. Okay. So this is like I want to say a merging. It's almost like I don't want to use the word, but I'm going to. Marriage. It's like a marriage, not of necessarily relationship, but a marriage of almost opposites coming together. And this could be, I feel, just given everything that has come before that, I don't think this is particularly about a relationship or you coming together with another person. It could be. And if it is, the cards are suggesting that those opposites actually work incredibly well together. You get that yin and the yang, you get the balance, you get that mutual respect of each other's values and what you bring to the relationship. So it could be that. It could be that that's coming through. But I'm really feeling that for many of you, this is more about a merging of different parts of yourself that are finally coming together. You're no longer kind of fighting some of the things that maybe you thought actually were not great. It might be just the balancing of your, the feminine and the masculine energies. We live in a patriarchal society, so for many women listening to this, you may feel like you've had to have that masculine energy dominating you to be able to sort of survive in a working world. This is saying we're stripping this back. You're no longer sacrificing your feminine side for that masculine side. There is a balance, there is a harmony coming together. It feels like the heart and the mind are actually at one. And that's a great place to be, isn't it? The fact that they are aligned. This is a really nice place to find yourself in. And it's all to do because you've set yourself on this path of finding out a little bit more about yourself, this path of knowing that there is more to life than just what we see and feel and hear and experience in the physical world. You know very much about the spiritual realms and you are wanting to continue that journey on. And I feel the layers that you've gone through are getting you to a place where you are happy with the choices of what you let go from your life, and what your values are become very clear, because we've got this marriage, this meeting of mind and heart, this balancing of energy within you. And that is a great place to be. Wow. Ooh. I hope that's resonated with you, pile number one. What a lovely reading. If you've enjoyed it, please hit a like. Think of subscribing to the channel here at Optimistic Orbit, and I hope to see you next time. Bye. Okay, hello, pile number two, and welcome to your reading about what version of yourself is trying to emerge. What's the new you that's ready to be born? Who are you becoming? So you chose the Folk Oracle, Universal Folk Oracle card number 19, a beginnings, adjustment, shedding, new, release. Ooh. Are you? That sounds like an identity shift, doesn't it? You're maybe having a bit of a sort out in your life in terms of what stays and what goes, shedding, release, letting go. It's all very positive. Number 7 for the Water Blessings card. So divine unity is your graceful and very natural self-expression. So again, aligning up with heaven and earth. So there may be something here to do with your intuition. Divine unity is your graceful and very natural self-expression. It suggests a little bit of confidence, I think, when you feel like, you are an individual, but you trust your intuition and you can call upon it. You feel so much more able to make some adjustments and to use your knowledge to, shed what you feel no longer serves you, without kind of panicking about it. You can be very decisive when those two kind of aspects collide, which is good. Oh, sorry, Widgie. Have we got a fly? I've got the door open and my dog is not keen on the buzz of the flies. He's okay, right? And finally, the Wild Whiskers card. We've got Playful Penguin. Oh, nice. And it says, Sanguine Spirit of the Snow. Teach me the value of family and friends. That's lovely. And you've got whimsy, community, and loyalty. Yeah, penguins are very loyal, aren't they? And certainly live in the community to survive. Whimsy, I love that. I don't think you take life too seriously, or at least you're maybe somebody who doesn't mind taking the odd risk here and there and seeing how it plays out. Okay, let's have a little look and see what we've got. So we've got the Ace of Swords with the Star. That is a fabulous combination. Do you know what? That's a really good combination, particularly for this reading. This is about you finding the truth. And this is not just truth for the sake of finding out a little bit more detail. This is about truth that heals. So I feel like there's some kind of work that you've been doing in terms of maybe your own self and who you've sort of become up until this point, because there's some healing being done here. This is about the truth that you kind of like come to, the eureka moments that you go, that's why I do that, or that's why I've always had that habit. It's almost like you're doing a lot of work on yourself and you're finding out some things that give you some renewed confidence. It's like the doubt about yourself, self-doubt that you had begins to dissolve, and hope here is returning after what I feel has been a difficult or maybe even confusing period of your life. You've kind of, you've almost felt maybe potentially a little bit stuck, or haven't really quite felt that your life is really kind of, working out in all the different areas that you would like it to. And you've kind of gone off piste a little bit and you don't quite know where it all has got to this point. And you're kind of almost a little bit afraid to what do I do now? But I think you're working on yourself. You're working on maybe some of your and using your inner wisdom to start to think, okay, so far this hasn't got me anywhere. Why do I keep on doing X? Why do I keep on thinking about the fact that I might not be able to do X, Y, and Z? And the truth is coming, and the truth is healing. This is great, and you're feeling great about it too. It's answered some questions about the way in which things have panned out, and also how you go about, playing the game of life. And it's really quite freeing. This is lovely. This is great. I mean, it kind of does connect with our new beginnings, doesn't it? You're doing some adjustments. You're doing some starting to see what self-expression you could have now that you've worked through some of these aspects that you were in the dark about as to why they happened in the way that they happened. Okay, so the Queen of Cups and the Magician. Yeah, you're beginning. So these truths that have kind of come to light through the work that you've done are beginning. I think you're beginning to work with them. Beginning to work with these truths, or this truth. And there is also here, this is someone who's emotionally got their stuff together. I think this hope has possibly helped you get to this point of feeling a little bit more calmer about how life has played out and where you're going to go next, because this is you beginning to work with the truth, but you're also guided by your intuition here. This self-expression, I definitely feel is part of you being able to tune into your intuition. Remember, the Magician is a very empowering energy, and he has the wand, he has the cup, he has all of the 4 elements here at his disposal. And don't forget that intuition is a tool too. Yeah, manifestation only happens because you are really thinking greatly about putting into action what you want to see. It's all very well having the tools, but you've got to use the tools, haven't you? You've got to be resourceful. And with that being resourceful and taking action comes the power that you need and the confidence that you need. I feel like now you've got this truth from this, what's been a difficult or confusing period for you. You now have got, okay, I know exactly what I need to do now to make things happen. This isn't about you staying passive with that truth. This is about you needing to take action on it. You need to engage with it. You need to take it somewhere a little bit more, and that could be, just sorting out your life, making some adjustments, maybe what the action is that you need to do. Maybe that's perhaps thinking about the role that you are playing in your life, who is around you, where you're living, what you expect to, where you expect to be in the next 5 years. Are you there? Are you there yet? Does it still align with who you are after you found this truth? What adjustments do you need to make is showing up here and saying to you, yeah, now you've got this truth. Don't just sit on it. Do something about it. Engage with it. Try and make those adjustments to make your life fit this new truth. Yeah. And you're going to be self-expressive about it too. You're going to be quite, you can see that you are so authentic in life in general, and this is just going to help you have the confidence to kind of move forward, move on in whatever direction it is that you want to. This clarity has really helped you make you much more focused in taking action, which is great, because it could be that some of you have been fairly stagnant and stuck because you just didn't quite know which was the best direction or what you really wanted. It kind of got a bit confusing for you, but the confusion has gone. This is great. This is what is emerging for you right now. Okay, let's have a little look at this. So we've got the 2 of Wands and the Seven of Swords. Okay, so yeah, that's great, because this is, you're engaging with this, and this is, I feel like, the next step. This is you actively considering the options. So you're using this truth, and you're using your intuition, you're using your renewed kind of vigor to engage with the truth, to actually consider what options you're going to move forward with. And I feel like this feels like you're less reliant on people. You don't, you almost had to kind of like, I feel like some of you had to sort of second guess what to do. You almost doubted yourself so much that you would then try and find other people to kind of like give you the answers. Or maybe you were somebody who just hated making decisions. There are people out there can't even decide where they want to go to eat or where they want to go on holiday. This might be you. And I feel like that is slightly dissipating now. And with the key things that you want to change in your life, you're asking some very, very insightful and thoughtful questions and planning the scenarios of what those different options could mean for you. So there is a definite feeling of renewed independence here. You're relying less on what society deems appropriate, and you're relying less on maybe other people to take charge of your life. You may well have let them, but you're saying, actually, do you know what? This is a renewed me. I'm okay, but actually this isn't, I need more from life. And this is you kind of stepping up into like a position of more independence. You're planning ahead for what you want next. It feels like it's a more self-directed version of yourself. And although the Seven of Swords can kind of mean there's some sort of deceit and underlying potentially underhand tactics in the background, when this is combined with the Two of Wands, I don't see that at all. I think this is you. This is a guidance to say you need to be able to trust your intuition and use your intuition. You hear the starlings out there, they're bickering. I've got the door open, it's a lovely day here today. So a more self-directed version of yourself. And I think there is just a slight warning here with this combination that yes, you've become independent, but don't become so self-sufficient that you isolate yourself. People will go, oh, look at her, look at him. He's very confident and cocky these days. No, you are an authentic person. People don't like when other people change. And I feel that that's what this card is telling us. It's saying, just watch out for those people that don't like a new, confident you, that maybe liked you when you were a little bit more indecisive, allowed them to make all the decisions. It potentially suited them. But, this is just something to be wary of. Tell people what you're doing. Tell people who you trust and who you believe are your community and who you are loyal to. Share with them. They want to support you. I think it's just I always feel, and I've said this in another reading not so long ago, about how you give your energy away sometimes to people who actually don't warrant knowing everything about what you're planning to do. Sometimes you can give some of the power away. So, it's a baby magpie. I hope you can hear me, sorry. So teach me the value of family and friends. So this is kind of aligning with that message, isn't it? By all means, go ahead. This is great. This is exciting for you, and you should be excited because the truths that have been unearthed are certainly something that help you greatly become a more invigorated person. But it's saying just keep in mind that the the people you have close by are the ones who show you the loyalty, and they're the ones who really you want to keep by your side, who will be your cheerleaders in this situation, in this new renewed drive that you seem to have got from this adjustment and this shedding of the old. So this is great. I mean, overall, we're saying you find some clarity. Clarity is coming. You have renewed hope by finding out that truth. And then you're leaning in and trusting your intuition and your ability to actually create change. Now, I haven't mentioned too much about what area of your life this is coming into. This could just be a general kind of upgrading of you. And it affects all aspects of your life, or it could be in one certain area of your life, in relationships, for instance, because maybe we've talked about a little bit more about family and friends, a bit more than we have other bits, but it could be more just of a personal development aspect, because we've talked again about the confidence and the use of your intuition, and you actually beginning to engage and feel more confident with being independent and standing on your own 2 feet, or standing alone without others kind of chipping in and maybe swaying you one way or the other. So that's a lovely reading. A new you, a new invigorated you, one that can take on the world, pile number 2. Okay, well, that's your reading. I hope that resonated with you. If it did, please drop a like. It'd be great. We're a growing channel, and it'd be lovely to see you for another pick a card reading here on Optimistic Orbit. So think of subscribing, because we always notify our subscribers of when the new readings come in, which at the moment is on a Sunday afternoon GMT time, which at the minute is British summer time. So yeah, that's when they drop, once a week. Anyway, thanks for magpie. Thanks for checking in. See you next time. Bye. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. You chose number 21, meditation, which is routine, breath, quiet, and peace. And we've got from the book that meditation will present infinite benefits at this time. Incorporate practice into your daily routines or strengthen existing ones. So yeah, for those of you that maybe don't meditate, or perhaps haven't got a really kind of ingrained practice, you know the benefits of it and how much it can sometimes just clear your mind, clarify some confusion in your head. It's very good for that, isn't it? So there's a definite call to maybe step into your inner wisdom a little bit more. And the water blessing card, number 9, evergreen lushness. Luminous, feminine spirit blooms eternal. It's interesting that I chose the Universal Folk Oracle for this, because it's all about the feminine energy. And yeah, and the female place throughout all of these cards. So this is interesting, isn't it? I'm wondering whether if you are a woman or if you are a man, there's something here about stepping up into your feminine energy more. You know, for those women listening, you know, I think there's definitely a message here about you obviously being in a patriarchal society, and it's almost like you're feeling like you're wanting to step into your power and away from some of the norms that society places on you. And I don't know whether you're feeling a bit angry or a bit just reluctant to just keep the status quo at that level, and you're wanting to break out a bit. I feel like there's some strong women that are coming here for pile number 3. Brawny Bear, the Wild Whiskers, it says power, inner strength and rejuvenation. Well, that fits well with what we've just said, doesn't it? Mighty Guardian of the Woods, connect me to the power of the earth. Yeah, so with the meditation, we often really have to think about when we're using the divine or trying to connect with the divine, that we are grounded here on earth as well, so that we can, that clarity of thought can actually help us in our everyday lives. Okay, so let's see what the Wonderland Tarot has got for us. So we've got the Six of Cups with the Fool. Okay. I think you are on the cusp here, the threshold, if you like, of a new chapter. And it's being informed by the past. So I've got a question for you, pile number 3. What is there an old story that you're ready to stop carrying? Is there a belief based on your past experiences that has kind of formed a big part of your identity that actually really isn't you, but you have maybe made it so? You're kind of giving yourself some labels here. It may go back to what we were saying here about kind of breaking out of this, breaking out society norms. You know, there's something here that you're ready to stop carrying. You're ready to let go of. It no longer suits the person you are becoming. And I just feel here with the Fool, because we've got new beginnings, someone who is ready for a little bit of adventure, ready to kind of cut loose and fancy free. It's like your approach to life has changed. You know, you're no longer just taking what you think is going to happen based on past experiences and what you expect to happen. You're now kind of coming at it with a little bit of curiosity, rather than I expect X, Y, and Z to happen because that's the way it's always played out. Here you're like, do you know what? Doesn't have to be like that. I can be curious. I can go off in different avenues to experience some new parts of life that maybe I've not been allowed to experience, or the past has kind of trapped me in a series of, like, you know, expecting it to always be this way. You're no longer defined by the past actions or your past beliefs. Well, that's great, isn't it? Maybe the meditation's going to help with that, help keep you moving forward and having that confidence to keep moving forward. I mean, the bear certainly is about inner strength, power, rejuvenation. That really fits, doesn't it? Okay, let's have a look what we've got. So we've got strength and the Five of Cups. So, so strength is about exactly that, isn't it? But it's finding the compassion to balance out the power and the strength. And I feel like what you have felt in the past, you are now able to fully release. And the strength card here is allowing you to release it because you feel empowered to, but it's also helping you to transform into this newer version of yourself. You know, luminous feminine spirit blooms eternal. I think there's a definite feminine energy that you are stepping into, whether you are a man or a woman. You know, that female energy is by no means a weakness. It's strength in droves, resilience in spades. And I feel like you're letting go here. Five of Cups is suggesting that you're letting go of those old expectations, that old life that you felt was once just what you had to kind of do. But this is you with renewed self-compassion for who you are becoming. And that self-compassion is kind of combined with self-care and also emotional kind of decluttering. You're letting go of what you once thought your life would be, or what old hopes you or expectations of what you thought would pan out in your life. You know, you may be at a certain age and you felt by now I should be here, when in actual fact life has thrown you curveballs and you're nowhere near that. In fact, you're veered off down a country lane instead of being on the motorways. You know what I mean? It's that kind of metaphor here, and it's saying, you know, you are accepting that, and you're not beating yourself up about it. You're saying, okay, I acknowledge this. Where can we take this now? I'm ready to step into a newer version of me that can leave the past in the past and not be defined by it. Okay, what we got here? So we've got the Five of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, so I love the fact that we've got the Fool here, and that there are no swords here. So you're not trapped by your own mind. I think you're ready for this, pile number 3, because this the drive of the energy of the Fool is very much like, I want to adventure, I'm ready to take some risks, I'm ready to step into the unknown. And the Five of Pentacles is kind of saying here, yeah, you realize that life isn't always roses. And combined here with the Eight of Pentacles, I think you're in a really good place. And maybe it's because you've got this lovely intuition, meditation practice, which is going to help you stay centered on where you're going, because this is about, I know how to build my own stability, and I can do that. Despite some of the obstacles that might be placed in my way, you're kind of moving away from feeling deprived to being an active participant in creating a new one. You've stopped idealizing the past. You know, you can now face disappointments honestly, and you've got the resilience, you've got the strength, you've got the compassion to be able to do that. Your self-worth, you have realized, is something that you build. It's not there to begin with. It can easily be crushed and, you know, rebuilt. And I think you're realizing that your self-worth is something that you can't take for granted, and that maybe the meditation practice is what you're being told here to do, to try and help make sure that this message isn't lost. You know, your self-worth is everything in terms of leaving the past behind and moving forward. You're channeling your energy now, quite rightly, into a life that you want, because you've realized you can't stay here. That doesn't help you at all. That's gone. And now you've got new hopes. You're letting go of anything that doesn't fit, and you're transforming. You're transforming into somebody who can just go in any direction that they want to. You're stepping into your power, one that maybe was just perhaps not always be able to be fully seen on display. I do get for some of you that there are, and it may be this kind of aspect that we were talking about here, in that maybe there were values in your society, in your culture, in maybe even in your family, that kept you in a certain box with a certain label about who you were supposed to be and who you were supposed to become. And that is what you are breaking free from here, which is such a lovely message, because whatever the reason is as to why you are leaving the past behind, you've realized it doesn't serve you anymore. You're accepting that, but you're also accepting that the life that you are building is one that's going to be one that you get to make the decisions about, you get to make the choices about, and you are putting yourself first. You are putting yourself first, and that is a great place to be, because before now, maybe that hasn't been the case. So channel your energy power number 3 into the life you want, because it's all down to you making sure that you believe in yourself and you believe you are worthy of it. That seemed really quite profound. I don't know if that's resonated with anybody. I hope it has. If it did, drop me a comment in the box below. I'd love to hear about you and what you feel about that. And also give me a like. We're a growing channel, and I hope to see you next time here on Optimistic Orbit. Bye for now.